Okay, ready to make our fabric covered ornaments. We're starting with a piece of fabric that's 9 by 15 inches. We're going to fold it in half 3 times, and we're going to cut the ends into a point. So we'll take out some of the bulk of the fabric that will help us wrap it around our ornament. So I'm cutting a V shape on each end of my folded fabric. It's just a quilting cotton from Joann's, cut at 9 by 15, and then the ends cut into the points. So when you have it cut, it looks like this. Okay, so next thing we need is our 5-inch ornament from Dollar Tree or wherever, it doesn't matter, and Mod Podge. I'm using the matte Mod Podge, and I'm coating the middle area of the ornament. We're going to start by wrapping the fabric around the middle, and then we'll wrap it onto the top and bottom. You can see I've taken off the little hanger from the ornament, and we'll save that for later. So I'm taking my fabric and wrapping it around the middle of the ornament and just getting it to meet. And then I'm going to use a little extra Mod Podge on the seam to make sure that that is wrapped all the way around and the middle of the ornament is covered. When we have that all covered, then we're going to start dealing with the ends of the ornament. So I'm going to go to the end without the hanger first and start Mod Podging those points down towards the middle. So I'm just coating the end of the ornament with Mod Podge, and then I'm going to pull those points down one at a time. And I kind of go in like north, south, east, west first, and then do the between. So the first 4 go just flat down, and then the second 4, you've got a little bit of bulk in the fabric to deal with. So you'll make some little pleats or tucks as you go along. And I'm just smoothing the fabric out with Mod Podge underneath the fabric and then on top of the fabric as I'm smoothing the points down to completely cover that end of the ornament. And I'm just using my brush. If you want to use your fingers to kind of get in there and flatten those pleats out, whatever you're comfortable with. But you can do this completely with a paintbrush. So I'm just coating all those and kind of, going over them again to make sure that it's smooth as it's wrapped around. Okay, so we're up at the top of the ornament, and some of these points you'll have to trim off so they don't cover up the little hole where the hanger doodad will go back. So if you have to trim it, just take your scissors and you trim it down and then Mod Podge it in place. Some of them will go right around it or right past it, and you won't have to worry about it. And if you're working with this and you wind up sort of not getting the whole thing covered, maybe you have a little bit of your ornament plastic showing up at the top, no big deal. You could take a scrap of your fabric and cover it, or if it's up there right by the hanger, you can just leave it, and then when we put the finishing touches on it, it'll be covered up. So I have one in the next step that I'll show you where I kind of got my fabric a little crooked and I left a little space with no fabric on it that it doesn't show in the end. So don't worry too much about trying to make it perfect. Get it covered, just use your brush and push out those little pleats and tucks all the way around. Get it as neat as you can, but it's not going to be perfect. These are handmade ornaments, not machine made. So perfect is not a requirement by any means. So after we have all the fabric around the top and bottom, then I'm just coating the rest of the fabric with a thin coat of Mod Podge. That way the whole ornament will have a consistent texture and finish when it's all dry. So a coat of Mod Podge, and then it just needs to sit and dry. You can sit it on top of a cup or a bottle. You could put the hanger back on it and hang it. I'm just going to sit mine on top of this Mod Podge and wait for it to dry. Okay, so here's our dry fabric ornament, completely dry. An hour, maybe two. If you're in a hurry, you could put a fan on them. So here's what they look like, and you can see the fabric is nice and smooth if you take your time with that Mod Podge. And then here's the ornament. You can see that right there at the very top, my fabric didn't meet. I think I had the fabric a little crooked on there, so it didn't quite meet at the top, but I left it. I didn't put a patch on it, and that's the one I'm going to finish, so I'll show you that it just doesn't make that much difference. So I could have taken a little piece of fabric, but didn't. If you want to have no greenery or jute, you could put a little patch of fabric on that, and call it done. I left it empty to kind of illustrate how unimportant perfection is. So I saved my little ornament hanger, and I'm putting it back on there, but I'm going to cut that string off. If you want to leave the string on there and you could take that the way it is right there, go straight to your tree, hang it up, and be done. I'm going to add some extra stuff to mine. I've got some greenery, I've got some pine cones, some jute twine. You could do ribbons, berries, any little scraps you have hanging around. But I'm going to start by wrapping the bail, the part that actually attaches to the ornament. I'm going to wrap that in jute twine. Makes it a little more substantial, gives it a little more finish. It's just a detail, and I have to tell you, I love the details. So I'm just hot gluing jute twine right around there. And, jute twine is little. Don't burn your fingers. You need to have something to hold it in place. I'm just going to use my scissors to hold it in place so that I'm not pushing down that glue and burning my fingers, because hot glue, ooh, ouch, that'll burn you. So just wrapping that twine around, making it nice and neat, just to give it a little finishing touch. So after I have the jute twine wrapped around the bail, I need to make a hanger. And when I made this ornament, I had some technical difficulties with the hanger, because what I had done was I accidentally filled up the hole where the hanger string, I know there's probably a right name for that, but I had accidentally filled up the hole for the hanger string with hot glue. So when I tried to put my hanger through there, it wouldn't go. I don't know why. I just got a little messy with the hot glue, and then it dried and it was full of glue. So I had to take my scissors and kind of go in there and dig out the hot glue that was clogging it up. So I get the hot glue out of there, and then I'm just taking a piece of jute twine and doing a lark's head knot, where you fold the twine in half, put the loop through the bail, and then put the tail through that loop. I think a lark's head knot just looks a little bit neater than just running the string through and tying it. Personal preference. You can just run the string through and tie it. So lark's head knot, and then tie the ends in a knot so that you can hang it from a branch on your lovely Christmas tree. Okay, so we're ready for our greenery. This is one of those greenery twist ties from the Dollar Tree. My personal Dollar Tree still has these. I know some places sell out of them. They're just a handy little thing to have. So, next year when they come out in October, grab 2 or 3 packages when you see them. They're handy for lots of things. So I'm just wrapping that little twist tie around the bail, and I'm using that. I'm putting the crossover right on that bare plastic where my fabric didn't cover the ornament, covering that up. So what mistake on my ornament? Well, there's no mistake on this ornament. Of course, it's completely covered. That greenery will just cover up where my fabric missed. So I'm going to kind of curl the ends on my greenery and fuss with it a little bit. And then I'm going to take 2 of the baby pine cones, also from Dollar Tree. They come in a little bag. They're cinnamon scented, and they're kind of strong. But these are something, when I see them, I just buy 2 or 3 bags at a time. And I keep them on hand. They're just a little filler. There's usually some really small ones in the bag, so I'm going to take 2 of the tiny ones, put a glob of hot glue right there on my greenery, and plunk those baby pine cones on there to finish my ornament. So that one has the jute twine, it has the greenery, it has the pine cones, it has all the stuff. But you could also leave them plain and just put the hanger that they came with right back on there, and then it could be done just like that. It's really, however you want to finish it up. It is, of course, completely your choice. Also, there's no reason to use plaid. You could use any fabric you want, whatever goes with your decor, and the very same process will apply. So there's our fabric covered Christmas ornaments. Enjoy!